being an entrepreneur sounds cool, but the reality of building a business is very, very difficult. Every level that you hit, there's a lot of things that suck that you just won't want to do. What you're capable of is on the other side. I don't feel like it.
And if you're committed to what it is that you're trying to do, nothing is going to stop you from getting there.
Welcome back to another episode of the Real Business Owners Podcast with myself, Trevor Cowley. Today, I want to talk about discernment. And what I mean by discernment is understanding that one thing can actually be two different things. Just because somebody's speaking something that's true doesn't mean that they're a good human being. Okay, evil most often is going to disguise itself in the form of something that you're going to agree with or something that you're going to want, right? It's not going to say, hey, I'm a bad guy, but these are my beliefs. And so just because somebody's saying all the right things doesn't mean it's the right person. What I'm dealing with at this point in my life and where I'm at financially is I'm getting sick of social media and I'm getting sick of the gurus specifically. I've had experiences, one-on-one experiences meeting, a handful of these people that have large followings, handful of these people that influence, other people that aren't good human beings. For instance, me personally, I've had an experience with Grant Cardone in regards to doing business with him many, many years ago. If you've listened to the podcast for quite some time now, we've been very open about that. It was 3 or 4 years ago. We said, hey, we spent $40,000 with Cardone marketing. We got absolutely shit. But yet you look at his social media and you look at the flashy lifestyle and you look at some of the things that he has, and it's like, well, I want those things. So therefore, if I get in his proximity or spend money with him, obviously he's going to do for me what he did for himself, and that's going to help me get to a higher level of success. And so a lot of these people are using manipulation, right? In terms of, hey, look at me. If you want this type of lifestyle, give me your money and I'll help you get it. And so I want you guys to have discernment. There's a lot of great people that are out there that really don't have a high level of awareness around them, which is unfortunate because they're giving good information and they have a high level of integrity as well. I've done business with Gary Vaynerchuk, his brother, AJ Vaynerchuk, absolutely incredible people. He is exactly who he shows you that he is. And so it's like, there's some people out here saying all the right things, but they're a wolf in sheep's clothing, so to speak. And so my challenge to you this year is to have discernment. Understand the individual behind the words. Understand the individual behind the energy. Understand the individual in their intent, right? There's a bunch more names that I could say. I mean, obviously, Andy Frisella, Ed Milet, I've done business with them, so to speak, by being a part of their Arate syndicate when it was $6,000 a month. And I only have wonderful things to say about him. But I've been behind the scenes, so to speak, in the green rooms on some of these events. And there's a reason why you don't ever see footage of behind the scenes in the green room at events. Out of all the social media people that you follow, out of all the influencers, out of all the speakers, how many times did they give you kind of the reality look at the green room and some of the things that they're discussing behind the scenes? And what has absolutely disgusted me is the majority of people that are throwing events and that are up on stages are throwing events and that are up on stages for one reason and one reason only. It's not really to impact the lives of other people. Yeah, if they do that on top of what their agenda is, then great. They're happy about it. But in reality, as long as they leave with more money in their pockets, they really don't give a shit. I've seen and heard the conversations behind the scenes. Well, this is what I'm offering, or this is what I'm going to do, or, and they high five. And, really it's getting people in a room that are individuals that we already know that want a certain outcome in life, right? And so the ticket is pretty much you generating a lead for them. And when you sit in the seat, now they know that, okay, this individual, they want to live a better life. They believe in self-improvement. If I could sell them the secret, or if I can sell them the course, or if I could sell them, whatever it is. And that's the thing that I have a problem with about the success space is I have a tough time with it because there's somewhat about the Real Business Owners Mastermind that follows their model in terms of like having a community of people that pay to be a part of the community. But in reality, the majority of masterminds is you're paying to be a part of a community where they put themselves on stage and say, hey, look at me, look at me, look at me. And they utilize that more so for influence so that they can move up the rankings and get to know, higher power people versus really doing it for the purpose of serving the community and trying to connect with the people. That's the discernment that I have to have in the success spaces. I could be in the space that I despise, but be the thing that is completely different. I can do the things that I believe that the space is supposed to do and was originally designed to do without having to go down the path of what everybody else is starting to do with the space, which is manipulate the space and manipulate people that want a better outcome for their life. I'm telling you right now that there's a lot of players in this game that have a high level of awareness or attention that don't really give a shit. And so if all of their awareness and attention is sell, 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 and it's not really, hey, this is what I'm doing, or if all of their social media is about, hey, I'm in a room full of people preaching something to these individuals, it's more of a look at me fest rather than, hey, let me connect with you. I've been taken. I spent $40,000 with Cardone marketing and didn't get shit. I've spent 7 figures between me and a partner with, Wags Capital, didn't really get shit. Right. So I've been left holding the bag many, many times by, individuals that had a lifestyle and had a result that I wanted and aspired to have, and let that blind me and unfortunately cost me money. And so one of the things that I feel like I do different is like people go run the 10 miles. They see me doing the very thing that I'm talking about. I live what I talk about. As a matter of fact, just this morning, I got an email from the Guinness Book of World Record, which I haven't said anything about. I made an Instagram story training for a world record, but that wasn't the original agenda when I set out to start running, was never to be an individual that has a world record. It's just I set out to extract my full potential. I set out to become the better version of myself. I set out on a quest because of a high level of curiosity to say, what am I capable of? Can I do this? And when my mind turned on me and said, hey, that's not you, you can't do that, I told myself, if you do it, you're giving yourself undeniable proof that you're getting better with age and that you're capable of more than even you think that you're capable of. So I pursued it. And I started doing the 10 miles a day, and I've done it for over 380 days straight. And then that made me scratch my head and said, what else am I capable of? Wonder what the world record is for the most consecutive days of running a half marathon. I looked it up. It's 235 days. 3 weeks ago, towards the end of the year, I put an application in for the Guinness Book of World Record to run the most consecutive half marathons in a row. So like when I'm talking about this is the way that you should live and design your life, like creating priorities. Oh, my family's a priority. My business, my money's a priority. My health is a priority. Lifting and building other people up and being of service to others is a priority. Are you really like living that? Like if somebody steps into your life, could they see that that's what your priorities are? And I feel like I try to anyways. I'm not perfect and nobody is. And so I'm not going to put myself on a pedestal. I have shortcomings as a human being. And I think because of my shortcomings, I think that that's why I strive for what I strive for, is almost to make up for it. I am absolutely probably one of the more laziest human beings on the planet. I would rather not do anything that I'm doing, but I know if my mind isn't busy and I'm not doing things productive, I already have the data on myself to know when I'm not busy and I'm surrounding myself with the wrong people and I don't have priorities and I'm not taking self-improvement seriously. I'm smoking weed from sun up to sundown. I'm drinking to the point where I'm blacked out 3 or 4 times a week. I'm chewing a can a day every single day. And I'm not saying that you can't have a dip here and there, or if you enjoy smoking weed that you can't do that in the evenings or here and there. I'm not here to tell you what you can or can't do with your life. I'm not here to tell you that you can't have a beer on the weekends. I'm here to tell you you can't do those things if you know when you do those things, you're not honoring what you're capable of. I will tell you that. So you know deep down if these things are affecting you in a negative way, and if they are, you need to put them off to the side so that you could chase what your true potential is. You have to show up each day and extract and extract and extract. And the only way to do that is by putting in a high volume of work and meeting your mind head on. Life is going to throw us all circumstances. Life is shitty sometimes, and it is for everybody. It gets to the point where it gets very, very messy. The question is, how are you performing during those periods of time? And do you have enough mental reps outside of the messiness of life because you challenge yourself on a day-to-day basis and you're doing something that requires a level of discomfort that forces you to face your mind head on every single day, so that when you have to face life head on every single day through some of these seasons, that you're capable. All you're doing is preparation. Guess what? All I was doing prior was preparation to become a world record holder. Did I know that that's exactly what was going to happen? Absolutely not. But you just never know where your preparation is going to end up leading you, and you never know what you really can truly do, because you don't have that level of comprehension yet, because you haven't put in that level of work that's required to expand your comprehension in terms of what you're capable of. The thing is I want you guys to have discernment. I would rather you guys, honor your own thoughts, listen to your own thoughts, than listen to influencers or people that don't have the best intentions. Just because they say the right thing and they, understand a certain sales tactic, or, they have a nice body and they are disciplined in that area, it doesn't mean that they're a good human being, right? It says look for 3 things in a person: intelligence, energy, and integrity. And if they don't have the last one, you shouldn't even bother. So there's some very intelligent people in the world that have a high level of energy, but they lack integrity. They don't really have character. You have to work on your integrity. And if you're doing things that you know you shouldn't be doing, then you're not living in integrity. And if you're not doing things that you know that you're capable of, you're living outside of integrity. Everybody likes to think that they're a person of character, that they're a person of integrity. What is it that you should be doing that you know that you're not? And when you answer that question and you start doing those things, that's when you're living in true integrity. Be of service to others by first being of service to you. Make sure that you're doing everything that you're capable of and rising and elevating yourself so that you have the ability to make your life more meaningful and live an example, not just for your family, not just for the purpose of the fact that it feels good to honor your potential. But if you're an entrepreneur, it's really up to us to live an example life, because whether you know it or not, there's people that look up to you. I know as a young individual, I looked up to people who owned businesses. I thought they had it all figured out. Right? I admired them and I wanted some of the traits that they had. I'm taking my job as an entrepreneur, not just with the employees that I have, very seriously. It's just with any eyeballs that hit me. I want to make sure that I'm doing exactly what I said I was going to do, that I'm living the type of lifestyle that I say you should be living. I'm not asking you to do anything that I haven't done. Discomfort is required for a massive level of success. Excellence really is your ability to go through discomfort without showing any variation in terms of your actions, right? Because you have a result that you strive for so bad that nothing is going to take you out. Nothing is going to distract you. Like if you're not happy with your health and that's an uncomfortable thing for you, the fact is it's not uncomfortable enough because you're still dealing with it. The thought of doing more and increasing your daily activities is a greater discomfort than the discomfort of being out of shape. If you're struggling financially, the thought of having to do more, whether it's getting a second job, hunkering down, selling certain items, living beneath your means, that thought is more uncomfortable than the discomfort that you're experiencing having financial difficulties, right? If you're struggling mentally, then there's something that's going on in your life. People, places, things, information that you're putting in, music that you're listening to. You're the common denominator and you have the controls. Adjust the controls as necessary. If you're struggling mentally, then change some things. Or you're not struggling as much as you say that you're struggling. It's just easier to bitch about it than really make extreme changes. I'm telling you right now, as your friend and as your brother, I don't think that the version of you that is you today is good enough to get an extreme result, a massive result, and see big crazy success. But I believe if you honor what the current version of you is capable of today, I believe that you can see extreme success because your capabilities continue to expand as long as you honor what you're currently capable of as of today. As I finish the podcast, I want to read this to you. It says self-oppressions. Unfortunately, most oppression comes not from others, but from a source we least suspect, ourselves. Self-oppression is the condition of letting our own negative thoughts and actions restrict us. It's an inside job. It's a burdening of our spirit by doubt, worry, fear, and distraction. None of us want to be the cause of our own failure in life, yet most often we are. It's in our own inept thinking, our own bad habits that rip away the vibrancy from life. We are the ultimate oppressors of our own happiness. Self-oppression is evident whenever we limit ourselves. I think listening to the wrong people and putting them up on a pedestal is limiting you. There's an employee that's in your organization might say all the right things, but they're not doing the right things. That's having discernment. I like this individual. I want what's best for them. I want to see them succeed, but they don't want to see themselves succeed because their actions are showing otherwise. There's some misalignment going on with what they say and how they show up. So your ability to perceive and understand and judge things clearly is discernment. So there's the perception, and then there's really the reality of the situation. So there's the perception in which you want people to think how you show up, and then there's the reality of how you show up. There's the perception that an employee wants to put forth in terms of anytime they see you. Maybe they put their head down real quick and act like that they're doing the work, but they're really not, right? Then there's the reality behind the perception, right? Then there's the perception of social media, and then there's the reality behind social media. And so I want you to utilize this year to really drown out the noise. Listen to yourself, honor yourself, do what you're capable of, and have some discernment. The best way to have discernment is just fuck everything else outside of what it is that you're trying to focus on. If you're part of a community, go all in. If you have a business, go all in. If you're involved in self-improvement, go all in. Right? Like, get rid of the bullshit and double down on the things that you know will serve you. And so, hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. As always, much love to you. Keep kicking ass.